Stylization means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You could say it's like a big umbrella. It's something I really want to talk about, but it's such a wide topic, you know, due to the nature of the concept. Stylization basically just being the style of an artist. You know, it can be anything from the House and Family Guide to the painting with the clocks on lean. Can't remember what that one's called. It's been a while trying to figure out how I could kind of just like shave it down. My first step was deciding to focus more on stylization in the realm of character design. That's still very open. I mean, stylized character, that could be a stick man's, it could be Five Nights at Freddy's, your favorite hentais. I really have to try and aim true, you know, like boom! Ooh, whoa, my bad. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, you know me.
Digging in deep all the time.
I had to get to the core of the situation, to the core of stylization. That's foreshadowing, actually. I didn't even realize it. I just kind of said that, and I realized it's actually foreshadowing for something, like the whole premise of the video. That's right. It's right there in the name. I was focusing too much on the style part of it. It's more like I gotta focus on the Asian part. Yeah, that doesn't make sense now, but keep watching. We'll get there. You'll see these cool transitions. I've got them all. I've got it all planned out. I feel like it's important before we continue this video that I mention this. Just because you're making stylized characters, it doesn't mean you can skip out on basic design principles. There's a few I want to quickly mention, but I'm not going to explain them. I'm not your damn babysitter. It's still important to have a good understanding of the rules of anatomy and body proportions, so you know when and where you can break them. And yeah, down here. Also, an understanding of color theory and shape language can also be good because they can help you understand aspects and traits of a character at a simple glance. Anyway, just make sure you have a good understanding of these things. Hold on. Art is subjective. People don't have to follow your rigid rules when they're expressing themselves and showing us a visual representation of their thoughts and emotions.
They have the freedom to create whatever they want.
No, they don't. My word is law.
Wait. How can you move?
No, stop, please, no! Anyway, sorry about that. Let's get started. Alright, I'm going to be making a stylized bust of the character Frenchie from The Boys, so to give something to follow along with throughout this video. Anyway, now let's get started. I like to specify I more so mean exaggeration in the character's form, often to highlight or draw attention to certain features. It's also a good way to quickly separate the character from reality and show that realism isn't the ultimate goal with this piece. Sometimes though it can be hard to decide which features you want to exaggerate, which ones you want to leave, but this is where using real life reference can actually come in really helpful. For me, for this project, luckily I'm recreating an already existing character, so I already have his features that I can play off of. As you can see, he's got a thinner nose and kind of a small mouth, and the sharp shape of his jaw and his cheekbones turn the bottom half of his face into somewhat of a more triangular shape, so I'm kind of recreating those things here. I like to start with a less exaggerated, just more realistic version of the face, and then flatten and really exaggerate all the things out that I want to after I come up with that more grounded base. Say you're making a character from scratch, though, I find it can be good to think of characters or people that exist in the real world that kind of remind you of them and use them as reference to kind of mishmash together whatever it is you have in your mind. It's good to do this step early and spend a lot of time with it because getting the forms right is important. The silhouette of this is what people are going to immediately read, whether they realize it or not. It becomes almost, it's the first impression, right? The shape of the character. Make sure to show those forms the love and care they deserve, if you know what I'm saying. I'm speaking purely artistically. And don't be afraid to, push the boundaries a little bit. You exaggerated, you made his head a little bigger. Make it bigger, And don't be afraid to fly too close to the sun. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting, time after time. Hey, hold on, isn't it? Wait. Don't interrupt me when I'm filming, please. Forms, however, are the only thing that can be exaggerated. The amount of or lack of detail can be exaggerated too, but we're going to use a different word for that. Now believe it or not, this isn't just as simple as simplifying everything. Oh no. See, what I mean is when you're making a realistic model, there isn't as much wiggle room. You just try and take whatever it is you're making and make it look as realistic as possible. Make it look like it would exist in the real world, or how you think it would look in the real world. You. Yeah. See, when realism isn't the goal, it's your choice to design what parts of the design are simple. And what sides of the design are complex. Stylized doesn't necessarily mean simple. You could say hand paint super detailed pupils, but leave his hair as just plain black blobs. Really, you can do whatever you want. Make his brow super detailed and wrinkly, but his cheeks just make them flat planes. If you really think about it, no one can stop you. And this also applies to texturing and lighting and rendering compositing. Yeah, man! Yeah, man! Yeah! Well, I guess my point here, you're kind of really doing it wrong, you know? You're just experimenting, trying things out. If you think something doesn't look good, you can always change it, you know? Or just follow through and do something different on the next project. Experiment. You might find things you never thought would look good. You might be surprised, you know? That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Wait, no, wait, I don't want to talk about the next one. Damn it, the next one's hard. This next one is really tricky to talk about. I think it's something almost everyone intuitively understands, but it's hard to talk about and kind of visualize and express, at least for me. So I guess I'll try and say straight to the point what I mean and then backtrack and explain it, okay? By abstraction, I mean portraying an idea or a vibe or something without it necessarily really even being there, or indirectly through adding other details that aren't explicitly about this thing that you're trying to portray. Now, hopefully that makes some semblance of sense. Semblance. Mal finiment, false cinnamon, fall minimum. This could be more physical things like someone not having lips, but the idea of lips being there because of the way that just the hole for the mouth has been drawn in. Or when a character has like extra muscles that wouldn't really exist on a real body to make them more muscular looking, or maybe more like a monster or unnatural or something along those kind of lines. With this character, there's not too much of this. I did put some darker coloring around his jaw and under his eyes, make it look like it's a bit unkempt or worn out. But it could also be more subtle things in the way characters make expressions, or the kind of shots that they appear in and the way that they're lit usually, and the camera angles that are used. Things like this that all together don't make much of a difference and you might not really even notice, but intuitively it gives you an opinion and an impression about certain aspects of the character. They're the kind of things that tell you things about the character without really telling you. Things that you realize without realizing you realize. You know what I mean? Abstraction can be anywhere from mild to extreme. Things like eldritch horrors and the ways a lot of religious figures are depicted seem abstract to the point where they're like more of a concept than a character. But I mean, with those, I think that is kind of the point. So here we are at the end. In case this is all you came for, here's the final result of the piece that I made. I'll leave you with one more way I've thought of to explain it all. Maybe it's concise and it wraps everything up neatly. Maybe not. That's for you to decide, I suppose, isn't it? No, it does make it easier to understand. Don't be a dickhead. Oi, you're a dickhead. Oh. So, you can look at these three concepts as bars. None of them mutually exclusive, all of them able to be as full or as empty as you choose, and whatever combination of the three you come up with will give you a completely different result, leading to unlimited possibilities. You can do anything if you put your mind to it, take your whole life, and you put a line through it. That sounds fucking stupid. Shut up! I said, don't interrupt me when I'm filming. I'm gonna go. Peace.